Welcome to A Change of Heart podcast. I'm your host, Angel Walston. And in this space, we navigate life together. We ask the hard questions like, what is the truth you haven't told? But most importantly, we grow together. And sometimes that leads to a change of heart. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of A Change of Heart podcast. For anyone, if this is your first time tuning in, I am your host, Angel, and I am a mindset coach and a content strategist. I have not been saying that the last couple of times. We're going to talk about that a little bit today. But I help millennial women of faith gain clarity in their vision, and I teach them how to overcome limiting mindsets that are keeping them from walking in their God-given purpose. And today we're going to address one of those, as we have been doing throughout this season. But before we do that, we have a question of the day, and I don't believe that this episode will be heavy. I don't intend for it to be. I think it will be something that will hopefully give you some encouragement, something that will remind you to extend grace to yourself. But I still wanted to do just kind of like a fun, lighthearted type of question of the day. And so, question of the day is, what is your song for the year? So like, what is the song that you have played on repeat all of 2021? What is the song that has gotten you through 2021? What is the song that, like, no matter how many times you have listened to it, every time you hear it is like, turn it up. That's my jam. Run it again one more time. So I feel like the song that I have played on repeat, there actually been two songs, but one song more so than the other. Maverick City Music Gyra. When I tell you that is my song, that song has gotten me through this year. That song has gotten me through some crying sessions. And it's not even simply about like the provider part of it. It's just the reminder of just like God's love for us. And so Gyra for sure is like number one for me, my song. That is the song of the year for me for 2021. And the second one is As I Am by her. I love that song. I was actually late finding out about it, but I love that song and I play it all the time. It's one of my favorite songs this year that I discovered. So hands down, Gyra and her As I Am stayed on repeat. So you all know the deal. If you are watching this on my YouTube channel, make sure that you leave your answer for the question of the day in the comment section below, or you can answer on Instagram in my stories at Angel C. Walston. And let me go ahead and say this. For those of you who are watching on my YouTube channel, I know, it's been a minute since I've recorded a video of just like with just me doing a podcast. And we're going to get back to that, I promise. There are actually 3 episodes left of this season, which is like crazy. But the last 3 episodes, I intend for y'all to actually be able to see my face again. We're recording this kind of last minute. I'm not even going to lie. But the next couple of videos, you will see my face again. And yes, one thing, cannot forget this. So in the description box, and I'll also post this on Instagram, I want to get a group of men together. I have men in mind. I have not confirmed with them yet. However, I want to get a group of men together, ladies, to answer your questions. Whatever questions you might have, I want to get a panel of men. So like how I did my girl talk session with my girls from Liberation for last week's episode, I want to get a group of men to answer whatever questions y'all throw at them, okay? We're going to keep it cute, but leave your questions in the description box below. So this literally can be questions about anything. Why do men do this? Why are men this way? What does this mean about men? What men, how y'all doing? What y'all feeling about mental health? Whatever it is, leave your question. It's going to be a group of 4 men that I have in mind so far. And whatever your questions are, I'm going to read them anonymously. So if you want to put your name, you can, but this is your opportunity to ask men anything that you want to. Nothing is off limits, but obviously, like, be respectful. Don't be out here doing the most. But yeah, I'm super excited about this episode that I'm working on, but I need your questions for it. So leave your questions in the link that's in the description box below. And I don't I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I don't know if it will air this season. If it doesn't air this season, it will for sure air season 4. Or if I'm just like obsessed and want it to be out immediately, I'll just add it as a bonus episode if this season is already over with. So make sure that you do that. And I'll also share it on my social media somewhere to let y'all know that we about to have these conversations. Okay. I think it'll be really good. And I said that I wanted something fun. We've been over here healing, heavy on the healing for season 3. And I wanted to do something to change it up. Okay, so make sure that you drop your question. Share with your girlfriend if you like, girl. This is our time. Share it with somebody. Leave your questions. They will be answered anonymously. Okay, they will be asked anonymously. They will not be answered anonymously. So make sure that you fill that out for me. Okay. All right. So let's jump into today's topic. So I share a lot of different quotes and things with my best friends. I'm always sending them stuff on Instagram. They're always DMing me stuff. And I came across this post by We Are Urban, I believe is the actual IG account. Let me double check that. I might be lying. We the Urban. So We the Urban, but it was like a, what do you call it? The carousel of posts. And there was a post by her at is Soul6CO. So SOULSIXCO. And what she said that I thought was such a necessary conversation, especially as this season has been so heavily focused on heavy on the healing and dealing with healing our inner child, like addressing and confronting a lot of different mindsets and really being in a space of vulnerability and just being like all in our feels throughout the season. I was going to save this episode for the last episode of the season, but I want to do something differently. So I thought now was a good time to talk about this. And so this is what her post said. Be careful not to make healing your entire identity. The ego is always searching for neat, definable labels to attach itself to. Make sure you define yourself by living, experiencing, being. You aren't a problem that needs to be solved. Can we talk about it? When I saw this, I was like, whoop! And whoop, heavy on the end, because the last line itself was, you aren't a problem that needs to be solved. That in itself is such a convicting and freeing statement all at the same time. And so I wanted to just kind of unpack this because, as I mentioned, I said this season is heavy on the healing. We done did a whole lot of unpacking this season, guys. I was telling someone, like, I love this season. I think that it's been a great season. But y'all, I'm tired. Like, truth is, I'm tired of crying. I'm tired of having these like heavy conversations, but I know something came out of it. But in seeing this, it reminded me that although I am someone who is very big on, growing, evolving, learning, unlearning, becoming the best version of who you were ultimately created to be, I also think that it's really important to learn how to not view yourself always as a problem that needs to be solved. Just think about how crazy it is that we can make an idol out of healing, that we can become so obsessed with healing that in itself can become a mindset that needs to be healed, because we're always in this space of how can I be better? How can I do better? How can I go? How can I be like, it's this never ending thing. And I want to do an episode, I don't know if it'll be this season or not, but talking about the pursuit of happiness in the sense of, it's like, what is it that we're really pursuing? What is it that we're really chasing? What is it that we're really after? And as we're thinking about like being on this pursuit of going through our journey of healing, as we think about being on this journey of just really unpacking a lot of things, although very much so necessary and highly encouraged, is also important to take the time to think about, like, what is it that you're really trying to do? What is it that you're really trying to be? And this goes back to my episode where I talked about unpacking the mindset of not being or doing enough. And I know for myself, as I shared in that episode, that I can be very self-critical at times. And I am definitely the person that this is my rule of thumb, okay? If you don't ask me my opinion about something, I'm not going to offer it. Okay. If I know it's going to be something that is of a negative critique, if you don't ask me my opinion, I'm not going to share it because I'm not going to rain on your parade. When it comes to me, I'm always asking for my opinion because I'm always in this mindset of how could that be improved? How could that be better? How could that be changed? And as a result of that, I have unintentionally fallen into the trap of always searching for the neat, always trying to find a place that is better or that is evolved or that is growing and all of these other things. And in doing that, you don't even recognize how you can put yourself in a position where you are so focused on your journey of healing that you end up not stagnating it, but almost like making it come to an unexpected halt because you're so driven by healing being your entire identity that if you feel like you're not making progress, then you beat yourself up for it. You start to feel anxious. You start to feel like you're not doing enough. You start to feel like what you're doing is not good enough. And it gets to a point where it's like you're always in this cycle of not enough, but always in this cycle of growing and changing and healing. And I think it's so. Let me step back. I actually sent this post to one of my friends, and when I sent it to her, I was saying that I realized for myself that I do have a challenging time really being present with who I am right now. And the interesting thing is I really like the woman that I've become. Like I really enjoy who I am. I love the fact that I am really coming into my own. I feel very confident in who I am. I feel very secure in who I am. Something happened recently that just reminded me like I know what I want, and I'm very confident in being able to communicate that and articulate that in a way that it's kind of like not a take it or leave it attitude, but this is who I am, this is what I want. And if you're not able to be that, no hard feelings, but that does not change my standard. That does not change what it is that I want. And even in that, there is still this need of wanting more, wanting to be better, wanting to, all of these different things. And the funny thing is that y'all know this is a safe space. This is our space for us to, be honest and open. We're working on vulnerability. And let's just say season 3 is probably the most vulnerable season we've had. And I feel like we're doing well so far. But I know for myself, an area that I really struggle with is that I constantly feel like I'm failing. And it's funny because a lot of times, and I think we've talked about this previously, but a lot of times people who feel like they're failing, it's like you're actually not failing. You're actually doing the absolute most and you don't even realize it. But it's very easy to like just kind of be in this space of trying to do more, trying to be more, and feeling like, oh, I want to move beyond this. I want to get beyond this. And I am definitely like a fixer type of person. So my mindset is always there's an issue, let me fix it. There's a problem, let's address it. There's something that needs to be changed, let's change it. I'm always looking at it from the stance of how do we get to the next thing? How do we get to the next point? And in doing that, it's very easy to get lost in always working on yourself and always fixing yourself and always identifying the areas that need to be changed. And I think it's very important to be willing to acknowledge the areas in your life that you need to change, that you need to improve, that you need to work on. There's nothing wrong with that. But I kept coming back to this idea of you aren't a problem that needs to be solved. And so there has to be a way that we can bridge this gap in a sense of I'm not fully where I want to be, or I'm not quite yet who I want to be. But man, I'm doing a darn good job over here. Like, sis, you're doing a good job. Like, you may have cried today, But that's a win because you got your emotions out. Maybe you didn't get the job that you wanted, or maybe like something you've been working really hard and diligently on for a long time. It didn't work out as you wanted it to, but you tried, like you did something outside of your comfort zone. You did something different. And so it really is about reframing that narrative and reframing your mindset around what you deem to be failure, but also around what you deem as growing and what you deem as something that looks quote unquote successful. And so, in thinking about that, I did want to talk about some, I would say, practical things that I am working towards in hopes of hopefully giving you all some suggestions, encouragement on this as well, because I feel like I would do a disservice to you all to have all of these topics this season that have been heavy on the healing side. And I know that all the episodes were like that, but a lot of them were. It was a little bit different in season 2 and season 1. And so I feel like I would do a disservice to you all to give you all of that information, but not also speak to this side of it, because I don't want healing to become your entire identity. Do I want you to heal? Absolutely. I think that there's so much beauty that comes with healing. I think that there's so much growth that comes with healing. There's so much freedom that comes with healing, and that is necessary. But we can also fall into that trap of always being on this journey of fixing, always being on this journey of problem solving. So, with that being said, one of the things that I constantly talk about and that I am continuously reminding myself of is being willing to extend grace to the version of myself that I am currently, without focusing on who I want to be, where I'm going, but where I am right now, today, 2021, December 2021. What is it that I really enjoy about who I get to be today, who I am today? Because if I'm so focused on who I am not, then I don't even fully love who I currently am. And when I think about it in that manner, it's like, I really love who I am. I love the woman that I have become. I have put in work, okay? This has been a journey in the least to say, but ultimately, there was a point, a version of me from, shoot, a year ago. I was going to say 5 years ago. A year ago, there was a version of me from 6 months ago who would be so proud of who I have become today. And so, how dare I overlook this, and how dare I not give grace to the version of who I am today, because now I've moved on to trying to figure out another problem of myself that I need to fix. And so I want to say that to you as well, as you are on your journey of healing, as you are in this space of figuring things out. Give yourself the grace to accept that no, you may not be where you want to be, but you also aren't where you used to be. And I know that's cliche. I know people say that all the time, but we have to be reminded of that. Like, think back to who you were in 2015, in 2017, 2018, and think about how the things that you were crying over, the things that you were worried about, the things that you were stressing about, think about how much stronger you are today as a result of what you went through, of what you learned. Think about how the things that you are facing now, yes, you might cry about it. Yes, you might get overwhelmed. You might get anxious about it. You might be sad about it. You might get angry about it. But how you're handling it is not the same version of, or how the version of you in 2010 would have handled the same thing. Acknowledge those things. Like, it's so important to acknowledge those things. And that's kind of my second point. When I think about giving grace in this mindset, or changing the mindset of looking at everything as a problem that needs to be solved, when I look back at how I have mindset wise changed, it's like, take a moment to acknowledge that we can't just tippy toe on cross past that. We cannot hopscotch past that. We cannot act as though that's irrelevant or that's not important. It's very easy to focus on everything that seems like a problem that needs to be solved when you don't even acknowledge what's already been fixed, what is working, what things have changed, because you're so busy focusing on, but this isn't right yet, but I didn't get that right, but I didn't do that. It's like, I get it, I know, but think about the version of you in 2010 who would have went off, Think about the version of you in 2012 who would have given up. Think about the version of you in 2014 who would have thrown in the towel because it was too hard. But look at the version of you in 2021 who is persevering in spite of. Listen, I cannot tell you how many people I know in the current moment, myself included, who literally are like, I don't know how I've made it through 2021. Like, the way that stuff has been happening, the way that like my life has been shaken and things have been thrown at me left and right, I genuinely, it's literally nothing but the grace of God that I am still here, because otherwise, I would have been thrown in every single towel that I had, beach towel, hand towel, washcloth, I'm throwing it in. But there's something that I have gained. There's something that has kept me. There's something that, in spite of the things that I have went through, that I've everything. I'm really not trying to preach to y'all, but I need y'all to feel this thing, how I'm feeling this thing right now. It reminds me of what it says in scripture, the scripture in Romans 8:28, where it says, and we know that all things work together for the good of them who love God and are called according to his purpose. How all these things work together for my good, even when it doesn't feel good, even when I don't understand why I have to face these things, even when I'm in a position where it seems like people on my job is cutting up, people are stressing me out, my family is going crazy, like everything just doesn't make sense. But somehow I'm still able to have a peace of mind. Somehow I'm able to not pop off like I would have years ago or even 2 months ago. Somehow I'm still able to stand here flat-footed, even in the midst of me wanting to break down, even in the midst of me wanting to cry, even in the midst of me wanting to crumble. But I'm in a place where I'm not going to be moved. I'm not going to allow the things that I have endured, the things that I've experienced, the things that I've encountered, I'm not going to allow those things to get me off of my post. I'm not going to allow those things to make me waver. I'm not going to allow those things to leave me to be shaken. And y'all, we so far off script right now, but I feel like it's important for me to say that, because there are some of you who you are so hard on yourself right now because you feel like you're not where you want to be, and you have not even taken a moment to realize that the battles that you have been facing, the silent and quiet battles that people do not know about, the tears that you have sat at home and cried, the nights you have cried yourself to sleep, the things that you have faced, the things that you have endured that you don't even talk about, that people do not know. You have no idea how those things, that the hell literally that you have had to go through, that you feel like I'm not where I want to be, or you feel like I should be further along, or I should be in a different place than where I should be. You have no idea how the things that you have went through, it has positioned you and prepared you for how you are able to remain steadfast in this season, how you are able to not be in a mental hospital, how you are able to not be completely broken down and taken out by the things that you've endured, the things that you have gone through. And so often we get caught up in this mindset of I'm breaking, or I'm failing, or I keep crying, I'm doing all this. Honey, that makes you human. And we have to remember that we are human. We are deeply flawed. There are things that we will face that are going to shake us to our core. There are going to be things that we face that we don't understand. There are going to be things that we feel like it's unfair. We feel like, why is this my portion, God? Why does this keep happening to me? Why is it that I find myself in this space? But hear me when I say this, even in the things that we don't speak, even in the things that we don't know, even in the things that we don't understand, God truly meets us in that. And we have to be reminded that he truly does meet us in that, because he really positions the things that was meant to take us out, the things that were meant to literally break us. He uses those things, and it's like armor for the new tests that are coming our way. It is literally armor for the new battles that we are going to face 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 10 years from now. That now we're in a position where it's like when everybody else is looking at you like, how you still smiling? Like, how you still going around happy after everything that you've been through? Like, what? Y'all, when I tell y'all we are so far away from the whole topic here, but we've taken this detour and I feel like it's necessary, so we're going to stay here. Like, I think it's so important for us to be able to acknowledge that, yes, I get it. You might not be in the position that you want to be in. You may not, be growing as fast as you thought that you would, or that you feel like you should. You might even be in a position where it feels like you feel like you're stagnant, like there's not progress being made. Sit with that. Sit with that. That is okay, because God meets us in those stagnant places as well. And there are some places that we have to be in where we feel stuck, so that we allow him to be the one to show us the path out of it. Because in our journey of healing, of this constant need to fix a problem, to solve things, we don't even realize how we can put ourselves in a position where we try to fix ourselves. And God is like, you don't even need fixing. Like, I don't even see you as a problem. I want to relieve you of this stress and this anxiety that you have attached to healing being your identity. You're so much more than just who you are becoming. Like, you're so much more than that. And I know that that's somewhat of a complex statement. It's like, well, what does that mean? We're more than just our journey of healing. We're more than just our journey of process. We're more than just this person or this being who is constantly in need of fixing. Like, who you are, God created you to be who you are in this very moment as well. Is there room for progress? Always. There literally will always be room for growth. There will always be room for progress. But I think it's really important to learn how to accept that you can still have room for growth, but also fully acknowledge and extend grace to who you are right now, and love that version of you and celebrate that version of you, and be very present with that version of you, and still strive to grow and heal and evolve and all of those things. Like, all of that can exist, but healing in itself does not have to be our whole identity. We cannot I don't want us to be in a position where we feel like we're constantly chasing a better version of ourselves and feeling like we're always coming up short. As you're becoming a better version of yourself, the version that you are today is not a short end stick. It's not the short end of who you're becoming. It's simply a version of you. So allow yourself to go through the versions. And like, there's nothing wrong with that. There was more that I was going to say, but I feel like this was it. I feel like what needed to be, y'all, I unintentionally hit y'all with my preacher voice. Like, I could feel it, and I was like, Angel, this ain't the time for that. But I really do, like, I genuinely want you all to know and to really accept that who you are is enough. And I support you in your healing journey. I support what you're doing, where God is taking you. But I also want you to know that you don't have to constantly be in a space of striving. You don't have to constantly be in a space of, gotta be this, I gotta be that, you don't. Like, who you are, where you are, what you're doing, like, it's enough. And I want us to really learn how to be okay in where we are, even as we're pursuing the more. So that's all I have for you all today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Y'all already know, make sure that you share with a friend. Sharing is caring, and it's free 99. And until next time, don't forget, be whole, be healed, and be authentic. And last but not least, don't forget to submit your question, ladies. Ladies, one more time for the ladies in the back. Submit your questions for the men's panel so I can get that set up, because I need to let them know what the questions are in advance. So send in your questions. The sooner you get them questions in, the sooner we can go ahead and record this video, okay? So send in your questions, link in the description box, and I'll see you all next week. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning into A Change of Heart podcast. I hope you were encouraged, and please take a moment to share with a girlfriend, and don't forget to download the episode. Lastly, I would love to connect with you. You can follow me on Instagram at Angel C. Walston and at A Change of Heart podcast. Have an amazing week, and don't forget, be whole, be healed, and be authentic.